was hard to focus on classes when the world felt like it was falling apart. Sissel was silent the entire trip back to Garania Academy. And silent he stayed, stone-faced and arms crossed as he fumed quietly in the back of the classroom. He ignored all my attempts to talk with him. Even my texts to him during class were left unread. His brow was furrowed into a tight knot as he glared angrily at nothing in particular. Miss Corlisse spared a few worried glances in his direction as she continued her lecture of the day. Sat a few seats in front of Sissel, occasionally glancing back towards him with concern. This wasn't the outcome I expected, but it could have been worse. Memories of the previous timeline surfaced in the back of my mind. I gulped, pushing back the bile, threatening to escape my throat. This outcome isn't ideal either. At least Sissel was still here. We could work with this. At least, I hope so. I'll have a talk with Sissel later to sort out what we should do, and I blinked and glanced behind me again. The only thing staring back at me was Sissel's empty chair. Why did he go? He was right there a minute ago. Worry clawed at my chest as I scanned the classroom frantically. Nope, he was nowhere in sight. Maybe he went to the bathroom or something? He could have left. Could he? What the fuck does that mean? No, don't tell me he hopped on a train and abandoned everything again. I took a deep breath and tried to remain calm. It's best not to make assumptions. Let's just wait a while. He probably needs some time alone. He needs some alone time to sort out his feelings anyhow. I'll wait and see. The instant the bell rang, I grabbed my bag and ran down the halls like a madman. Where the hell did Sissel go? It wasn't like him to just up and vanish. Oh yeah, totally not like him. I figured he'd at least tell me about it. I sighed and tried to calm my pounding chest. Gotta find Sissel. Where should I try searching? Oh! Holy shit, a choice! What? I haven't seen that in a while. Well, let's fucking save. Why would he go to the school office? That doesn't make any sense. The cafeteria? No. My best bet would be the courtyard. Alright, so that takes us there. Does the cafeteria? Cafeteria also takes us there. School office? None of these places are dead ends. Alright, so I'm choosing the courtyard. Let's see what happens. I ran into the school courtyard, glancing around frantically. The place was filled with chattering students now that classes just ended, but Sissel was nowhere in sight. Damn it, where could he be? I blinked as someone gave me a friendly pat on the shoulder. Yo, God, this is the face we don't want to see. It's kind of the face we want to see, but also kind of not, because he's part of the family that is destroying everything, but also if somehow maybe he could bail them out, but it's the same family's money, so that would just transfer the debt onto him, and Yo, John, what's got you in a tizzy? Oh, hey, Owen. It's nothing, really. Have you seen Sissel, by any chance? Sissel? I saw him in class like 10 minutes ago, looking like the world's angriest storm cloud. Man, did you two get into a fight already? Your first date was just yesterday. I thought it was going so well, too. The date was great, actually. It's just, a lot of stuff has happened since then. I suddenly lit up as the idea hit me. I grabbed Owen by the sleeve. Wait a minute. Owen, you have money! Owen blinked at me blankly. Yeah. Local rich boy Owen Loralei at your service. If you're looking for a sugar daddy, though, you should probably talk to Sissel first. You're cute, and I might be open to some group fun, but I respect Sis too much for... No, you dumbass! That's not what I'm talking about! You can help us with something. Listen, you know Sissel's boss Herschel. Turns out he's getting threatened by a bunch of thugs to collect on some shady debt. I know it's not polite to just ask for money, but they're threatening to hurt him real bad, and maybe Sissel too. Oh shit, that sounds like some serious business. Shouldn't you call the police, or... Oh! Oh, he knows! He knows! Wait a minute. Owen frowned. Shady. Debt collectors. A strange mixture of nervous guilt slowly knotted in his brow. Did you happen to see what these thugs looked like? I did catch a glimpse of them as they were leaving. They were pretty well dressed, probably on the wealthy side. I squinted. Now that he mentioned it, those thugs looked an awful lot like... Did they look like me? I flinched. Well, maybe a little. Owen bit his lip and grimaced. That's not good. I think I need to go. Huh? Wait, where are you going? Owen stormed off without another word. He barely spared me a second glance as he ran towards the school entrance in an anxious sprint. I wonder what got into him. Gotta find Sissel. Where should I try searching? Oh, so we can go to all of them. Oh, that's good. Cafeteria. Presuming that there isn't like, if you go here first, you get this. If you go here, then you go that, and whatever. I poked my head into the school dining hall, only to be met with disappointment. What was I there? Sissel wasn't here either. If I were upset, I would just stress eat my worries away, but it looks like Sissel had other ideas. Where could he possibly be? Hey, John. Huh. A face suddenly appeared inches from my face, studying me suspiciously. Phillip! What the hell are you doing? You look like shit. What happened? Please don't tell me Sissel dumped you already. It's barely been a day. Ginny and I didn't put all the effort into threatening the staff at Very Legal Seafoods for you to muck it up in less than 24 hours. I puffed up indignantly. Hey, now! Have a little more faith in me. That's difficult when you have the expression of someone whose goldfish just died. What's the problem, then? I scratched my head awkwardly. It's a little difficult to explain. If you're having bedroom issues, Owen can probably give you some advice. God knows he won't shut up about... It's nothing like that! I tugged at my hair and let out a frustrated sigh. It's just that Sissel's boss got into trouble with these debt collectors, and Sissel wants to help him. But Herschel's refusing to take any help, which is making Sissel really mad. And I want to help Sissel, but now he's so mad that he won't even talk to me, and now he's disappeared. I thought since we were dating, we'd be more open with each other. I'm here to help him, god damn it! I collapsed into a nearby chair with an exhausted huff. This is a lot more serious than I expected. There was a rustling sound as Phillip gingerly dug through his handbag. I suddenly felt something cold press against my cheek. Phillip gave me a small, supportive smile as he plopped a bottle of chocolate milk onto the dining table in front of me. I figured something cold and chocolatey would help calm your nerves. I squinted at it. I thought you didn't like sweet things. I don't. They were giving these out at lunchtime today, and I figured a chocolate addict like you would get more use out of it. Even with my bad mood, I felt a little wave of gratefulness wash over me as I grabbed the bottle of chocolate milk, and then proceeded to chug the entire thing in one go. The taste of sweet chocolate filled my throat and soothed my nerves. I let a refreshing sigh and slammed the bottle back onto the table. Feel better? Just barely. Thanks. I needed that. There's just so much shit going on these days. Speaking of, Phillip frowned and tapped his chin thoughtfully. These debt collectors you mentioned, please tell me they're the legal kind of debts. Let out a strained laugh. Not even close. Those thugs beat the shit out of Herschel when they came in this morning. Huh. Phillip's eyes narrowed, his expression darkening like a cold viper. Criminal debt collectors giving you issues? Glanced around the dining hall warily before leaning closer to me, his voice dropping to a discreet whisper. If you ever need it, the Black Cat is here to lend a helping hand. And if it can't personally be of use, I might also know a few people who could help you out of your situation. I blinked and gulped. Oh, right. The Black Cat himself was right here in Garrini Academy. Just saying, if you ever need the help, my offer is here. Just say the word. Thanks, Phillip. I might take you up on that sometime. Did these debt collectors ever mention who they worked for? I might be able to send them a little message. I'm not sure on the details. Herschel did mention they worked for a big and important family. Phillip stiffened. Big and important family. There's only one of those around here brash enough to... Glanced around the room nervously. Did you mention this to Owen yet? Yeah, I ran into him in the courtyard earlier. I mentioned those thugs to him, and he just sort of stormed off without saying anything. Where did he go? Last I saw of him, he was running towards the school entrance. Phillip stood up suddenly. I'm gonna make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. Hope you find Sissel soon, John. Call me if you run into any issues. With that, Phillip rushed out of the cafeteria with heavy concern etched across his face. Everyone's in such a mess today. Okay, so the order of this does fucking matter. Did we fuck this up? Yeesh. Oh, there's a strange noise near the school entrance? I didn't know about that. My ears twitched and I tilted my head curiously. Heated whispers echoed through the halls near the entrance of the school. What is going on over there? I need to fix this! I froze and quickly ducked behind the corner. I never heard Owen sound so angry. What was he talking about? Oh shit. Oh shit! I thought you said you wanted nothing to do with the Loralei family. Owen let out a frustrated hiss and raked his fingers through his hair. I'd want nothing more than to stay as far away from the rest of the Loraleis as possible. But I've been running away from them all my life. If I had joined them, I might be able to change things. Maybe if I didn't run away, I could have made them less corrupt. Maybe Sissel's boss wouldn't have to... Phillip leaned close to Owen and placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. You were a kid. One person in a disaster of a family. You're not responsible. Owen buried his face in his hands and breathed in sharply. And breathed out. In, out, in, and out, in, and out. That doesn't matter now in any case. I'm going to find these debt collectors for my family, and I'm going to pay off Sissel's boss's debt. Hopefully that keeps them safe for a while. You're assuming that your family's willing to let them go. Not sure if you've noticed, but your entire family is filled with sadistic pieces of shit. It's the least I can do right now. Better than turning a blind eye and doing nothing again. Sounds of shuffling footsteps echoed through the hallway. What? Isn't it obvious? I'm coming with you. You're not involved. Like hell I'm not. I've got a bone to pick with the Loraleis myself. Plus, I'm not letting you go face a bunch of thugs all by yourself. You're stuck with me, like it or not. That sounds like a lose-lose kind of deal. You know, this isn't how I imagined I'd bring a guy home to beat the family. They'll be thrilled, I'm sure. Phillip let out a teasing laugh and pushed the school doors open. Anyway, you ready to go? Owen smiled fondly. With you by my side? Always. Look at those two! What was all that about? Well, that only leaves the school office. The Granny Academy offices were buzzing with post-Visitors' Day activity. Teachers were busy gossiping with each other about parents' reactions or bragging about how clever their favorite students were. This hardly seemed like the place to go if Sissel was in such an angry state. Still, wouldn't hurt to look around. Quietly slipped through the narrow hallways and approached the familiar office near the back of the building. Knock, knock. Oh, how you visited Mr. John? Oh, how you visited Mr. John? I was expecting you. Come and take a seat. I was just brewing a fresh pot of tea. Miss Corllisse's stern yet gentle smile greeted me as she eagerly ushered me into her office. I awkwardly settled into her office, glancing around curiously. Unlike Mr. Rokov's surgically clean and organized office, Mrs. Corlisse's space felt very cozy and lived in. There was a steaming tea set on a small table in the corner, next to her shelf of trophies from former students, and a healthy pot of Eloise flowers. Two comfy bean bags and cushy chairs faced Mrs. Corlisse's desk in a very casual arrangement. The place felt more like a mini living room instead of a teacher's office. I don't remember these bean bags being here. What's the occasion? Oh, Sissel came here earlier looking like he's ready to skin someone alive. So he was here! Shit! I figured a more comfortable environment would help soothe his ruffled feathers. Sissel was here? Do you know where he went? Miss Corlisse let out a low chuckle as she reached for her tea set. Gentle steam billowed from her teapot as golden brown tea filled my cup. An earthy and herbal smell filled the warm room. I felt my anxious shoulders loosen as a sense of calm washed over me. If you are worried about your friend's foul mood, I'm happy to tell you that Sissel left in a much calmer state. Oh, well, that's good to hear at least. I took a sip of tea. The gentle bitter taste gently washed away the frantic background static of stress that's been buzzing in my head since this morning. The stress was still there, but I did feel a little better. Now, Mr. John would have been bothering you. You hardly looked better than Sissel when he first came in. There's just a lot of stuff happening right now. Miss Corlisse simply nodded and listened attentively. I took another sip of tea. Sissel's been having some family issues, and he's been seething since this morning. I want to help, but he's been too angry to even talk to me. I mean, we're dating now, right? I figured he'd have more trust in me, or at least be willing to talk about what's been bothering him. I want to help, but I can't really do that if he's being all silent and brooding. I blankly stared at my cup. It was empty already. More tea? I nodded gratefully as Mrs. Corlisse poured more into my cup. It's admirable that you want to help your friend, John. But sometimes emotions get the better of us. If Sissel is so worked up, perhaps it is better to give him some space and allow him to calm himself down first. It'd hardly be a productive conversation if either of you are too angry to speak clearly. That's true, but you're still worried. I sighed and buried my nose into my teacup again. Yeah. Miss Corlisse hummed quietly as she set her teapot down with a quiet tick. At this point, you should know Sissel better than anyone else. You know he has a hard time accepting help. When help is given, he feels guilty and undeserving, as though there is a debt to be repaid for such kindness. It is truly hard to help our loved ones when they feel unworthy of love. Mrs. Corlisse paused and took a sip of tea. A trait that runs through his family, I suppose. I looked up in surprise. He told you about that? Sissel was being vague, but I had my suspicions. He had his mother's eyes and stubborn work ethic. It grew a little more obvious when he stormed in earlier asking about Cecilia Bradley and what I knew about her. She laughed fondly. Although my suspicions were only fully confirmed when you mentioned Sissel having family issues. Oh, whoops. I shrugged sheepishly. So, did you tell him anything about his mom? What was his reaction? Conflicted and bittersweet, as you could imagine. It is hard to hear how kind and hardworking your mother is when the knowledge that you will never meet her with the knowledge that you know you'll never meet her. Miss Corlisse stood up and rummaged through a nearby shelf. I had been meaning to give Sissel this, but he left before I had the chance. I had to chance. Since you are looking for him, would you do me the favor of delivering this? I blinked in surprise as Mrs. Corlisse handed me an old, faded photo. It is a class picture. Actually, that isn't accurate. It's a photo of the knitting club at BriAnna Academy back in the ye olden days. The club only lasted 1 year, but it was filled with a small group of students that had changed my life for the better, Cecilia Bradley being one of them. I'm sure Sissel will appreciate it. I glanced at the figures in the photo quietly. A much younger Mrs. Corlisse smiled back at me, along with 5 grinning figures. One was a tired but jovial Cecilia Bradley. A tiny Herschel wearing an oversized baseball cap beamed timidly near the bottom of the photo. The rest of the figures were strangers, but they all looked familiar in some strange way. Gently placed the photo in my bag and nodded. I'll make sure he gets this. Where did Sissel go after talking with you? Do you think he's calmed down enough for me to go find him? Miss Corlisse smiled. He did look much happier after our little chat. As for where he went, I think you'd know better than I. Where does he usually go when he's upset and needs comfort and familiarity? Ah, I see. Thanks, Mrs. Corlisse. It is my pleasure, John. I am your teacher, and hopefully trusted adult figure. You are always welcome to my office if you need someone to share your troubles with. I am here to help. I sipped the last of my tea with a small smile. Thank you. Leave for Bradley Woods. For the record, I do intend on seeing what happens if we go straight to the school office first, see if we can find him, and if that doesn't change anything, if we can just go straight to Bradley Woods and then skip the whole Owen and Phillip thing, or at the very least, what would happen if I go to Phillip first. I am going to play around with it a little. I do want to see what happens, because it does seem to matter which order you do this shit in. Am I ready to head out to Bradley Woods? I won't be able to return to campus for a while. What? What? Yes. All right. Time to make my way off campus. So that's the game's way of telling us that you're not going to come back to this dialogue choice anymore. This is the next branch. I hope Sissel is doing all right. We can skip doing the cafeteria and courtyard stuff. Is it better to do that, though? I'm going to make a save for that as well. And I'm keeping this in so that I can look back. So this save file, the one at the top, is the one that is the base model. This is the choice. This is the one where we did everything. Owen, Phillip, Corlisse, gone. This one right here will be the one where, boom, where we, what happens if we went to Corlisse and then straight out. That one is going to be one where we just totally skip over Owen and Phillip entirely. Now, let's go back, load the game, back into this one, and try going to the cafeteria first. Did you mention this to Owen yet? No, why would I? Maybe this is something he needs to know about. I think I saw him wandering around the courtyard earlier. If you run into him, It might be helpful to give him the rundown of your situation. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. So then we go to the courtyard. Nothing changed there. And does the strange sound lead to the same dial? Yeah, it does. Okay. So really, the timing of Owen first to Phillip first, the only difference is that Phillip does think you should tell Owen. So that's good. So with that in mind, I think, yeah, we only really need the two. We only need the two save files. That being this one and this one and this one, because this is the one where we did everything. This is the one where we totally skipped Owen and Phillip. This is for me and for you. Future reference, hold me accountable. If it turns out that Phillip and Owen knowing is the wrong thing somehow, we need to go to this one, because in this one, number 3, they don't know. With number 2, they do. And I want to go with number 2 first, because that's the one that has the most variables, bound to be probably the most interesting, maybe, and it's the one I naturally was inclined to go to. So we're going to go to this one. This is the one where everyone was on board and doing the do. So let's see. As for where he went, I think you'd know better than I. Where does he usually go when he's upset and needs comfort and familiarity? Mrs. Corlisse had said those words with such confidence in me. Couldn't help but feel a small flutter of comfort in my chest. To Bradley Woods, where Sissel grew up. Where he always goes, where he needs to feel at home and at peace.